dreaming in the open. Now look around, isn't this a new day? Make a move, doing things a new way. A new way. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Look ahead, we can see forever. You and me doing it together. Light it up, we can be a million stars. Look at us, don't you see we've come so far? Yeah, we've come so far. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time, and these are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming.
Hey, this is Craig. Welcome to Every Woman. Right off the bat, we have when were you born? Yeah,
So
not necessarily the exact day. In the 80s, the 90s,
in the early 70s.
Because people get too much information.
Yeah.
People start getting nosy. I don't want that to happen for you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was born in 1972.
Oh wow,
So
okay.
That makes me 52. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And very proud of it. Thank you.
Congratulations. It wasn't easy for us, was it?
No, it wasn't. No, but we managed.
Okay, can you imagine if they had the internet and cell phones when we were kids?
No, I would be in bad trouble.
Oh, me too. So, where were you born?
I was born right outside of Atlanta in Marietta, Georgia.
Okay.
If you're familiar.
Did you grow up there?
Say again?
Did you grow up there?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay.
I grew up here. I actually went to high school in Forsyth County, but came back here because my family's here.
Sure. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
What was that like? Was it rural? Was it urban?
I lived in a very small town. And back then Marietta was a lot smaller, but it's gotten bigger. So everybody still kind of knows each other.
Sure.
We're all still kind of related.
Right.
Everybody's related here.
Yeah. And were you a good student? Did you enjoy school?
I hated school, actually. I hated it. I liked the social part of school, but I did not. I was not. I should have been a better student, but I was not. I actually just went back to college and graduated this year.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that was fun and hard, but fun.
Yeah. And so I know in rural situations, sometimes fathers have real strict dating rules. Did you grow up in a big family?
I do have a big family, actually. I've got my family, a step family, a half family. So I got a lot of cousins.
Oh, so it's really extended.
Yes.
What about siblings? Do you have a lot of siblings?
I do. Well, I have a stepsister, a full sister, and a half sister.
Okay. So you got the whole gamut.
Yeah. Yep. There's on one side of the family, it's all boys. On the other side, it's all girls. So.
Oh my goodness. So wild.
It's fun.
Did you date? Did your dad have you can't date till you're 17, or were there rules like that?
We definitely had that rule. I think it was 16. We could hang out,
Sure.
But yeah, we really didn't. We didn't really date until because my older sister, she's a year older. So she started dating obviously before I did, but we probably 16, 17. It's been a long time, so I can't totally remember, but yeah.
Right. Did you choose a career, or were you a homemaker? Or
Oh Lord. Okay, so I've never been married and I don't have any kids.
okay,
So
that was my next question.
I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like flipping through the phone book. Remember the phone book back then?
Yes, yes.
I was flipping this phone book, and my sister said, "Do you like to travel?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I went to travel agent school. I was a travel agent for a long time,
Oh, that's cool.
and then I got the job I have now as an admin assistant. And then I went to school, and now I'm a tax accountant. And
Nice.
actually, I love this job more than any job I've ever had. So
That's it. That's great.
yeah.
Great. That's great. Um, do you have any regrets?
Oh Lord. I would say the only regret, and it's really not even a regret at this point. Obviously, I'm too old to have kids now, but I really, really, really wanted kids. But I didn't want to have kids with, just anyone,
Sure.
and I couldn't find any man that wanted to keep his, privates to himself. I usually say something more, bad than that, but I couldn't find a faithful man. So I didn't want to have kids, and I'm a really, really, really good aunt. So I missed out on
That's
nothing.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What would you say is your greatest joy?
I would say the kids in my life, my nieces and nephews.
Yeah, fulfilling,
Probably
isn't it?
one of the best things I've ever done was sort of devote my life to them while they were growing up. I do think it helped. I do. Because they had me to talk to.
Sure.
So I
Sure.
made sure they didn't they were
They
doing the
can help
normal
you with
bad
things that
stuff.
parents can't answer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Without the judgment as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 12 when my sister got pregnant with her first daughter.
Oh, wow.
So we kind of did a little growing up together.
Yeah.
My sisters were older than I was.
Okay.
My
Okay.
nearest sibling was 8 years older than I am.
Okay. So that's good then.
Yeah, yeah, she was. Yeah, she was at least of age. Do you have any hobbies? Do you craft? Do you play sports?
I like to watch sports. I'm a huge Braves fan. I actually am doing my own podcast on the side. It's true crime. And I spent a lot of my time I'm looking for a missing girl that she's been missing for 12 years.
Oh,
And she was part of a pedophile ring in Alabama. And so I got into that last year, and it's kind of changed. That's changed my life, I would say. I mean, you know true crime, so it's definitely opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. I would say
yeah.
my hobbies are going to concerts.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I
That's
love a good
fantastic.
concert.
And what kind of music do you like?
I'm a huge Miranda Lambert fan, like real
Okay.
big, real
Yeah.
big. Love her. I love
Yeah.
all kinds of music though, but I love her specifically just because her music is kind of geared towards, badassery.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a no joke.
Yeah, yeah, she
Yeah.
does not play around.
Yeah. I like her music. I have a wide spectrum of eclectic music tastes,
Yeah,
and uh, growing up in the 80s, we got that golden era of country music. And
yeah,
I used to ride to work with another person carpooling in California, and he listened to country music like exclusively.
yeah,
So whenever that stuff comes on, it's like, oh wow, I didn't know I know the words to this song.
yeah, yes, yeah. And I'm sure that your parents made you listen to it in the car in the 70s.
you know it was that and like oldies music, right? Like the
Yes, yeah, yeah,
50s,
yeah.
60s, that kind of rock and roll. And then the country
Yeah.
stuff, obviously.
I, lo-
Like
I,
I grew up
we're,
on Eddie Rabbit, right? Like I really love
well,
the rainy
right.
night.
Yes, yes. And yeah, it was the, Willie Nelson era.
Yeah, yeah. In the outlaw country, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Now I have some kind of tough questions for you here.
Okay.
Have you ever been sexually assaulted?
I have not. Honestly, I'm probably one of the only people you'll ever meet that hasn't.
That's that
It's,
that's a double-edged sword, right? Because everybody thinks either everybody else has, or the other edge is like, oh, Nobody's ever. I don't know anybody that's been sexually assaulted, but
Oh yeah.
so many people that keep that a secret.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
Like
mean,
I've
we're
been sexually assaulted. How about that?
really.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
Like, okay, I wasn't too much of a victim, right? Like, I worked at Disneyland, and I was walking through an attraction as my job required, and someone copped a fill.
Oh okay. So
I
it's
mean,
still
I wasn't too horribly terrified, but I didn't take it too kindly because I'm not into guys.
right, right,
And I
right.
was telling another guy that I worked with that it happened, and my manager overheard it. And he was like,
Wow.
"Oh, what?" And the next thing I know, I'm filling out a statement for security, and I was told
Mhm.
that those gentlemen were escorted from the premises and told not to return.
Wow, that's good though.
But I didn't feel like a victim,
Yeah,
right? Because I didn't
yeah.
feel like I was vulnerable, or
Mhm.
my hands were a little tied because I couldn't defend myself.
Right.
But if we were on the streets, it would have gone differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but
Yeah, I think, and I deal with a lot of victims of incest and all that stuff, and you know it. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird, disgusting. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
yeah,
And I talk to people all the time, and I do believe that partially my personality. I'm a loudmouth. I don't have secrets. I would have definitely told a
you don't
million
come off
times
as an easy
over.
victim, right?
Say again.
You don't come off as an easy victim.
No, no, and I don't think. I think that predators smell that weakness in people,
Yes.
because a lot of times we show it on our body, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely have been in situations where I'm like, yeah, no, no, no,
Well,
no.
see, I think in my situation that the gentleman thought that I was kind of interested because it's my
Mhm.
job to host
Mhm.
and be polite and cordial.
Right.
So I wasn't giving off my normal vibes,
Right.
and I don't hold it against the guys. They were just trying to have some fun, and they thought I was into it.
See, and I think that sometimes that can happen as well.
Sure.
Especially if you're in a situation, but it's based on how it makes you feel, and I think that's the thing about abuse of any kind is how does it make you feel?
Right.
You know,
100% on that. I
yeah.
agree. Yeah.
So
Now, I know you said you've never been married, but have you ever been a victim of domestic violence?
no. No, and I think if I've always said if you hit me, you better run because when I get up, I'm coming after you. I'm only 5'2", so I think I might have a little bit of Napoleon complex. But
I can.
I
Yeah.
say again.
No, I was just yeah. I
Yeah,
can
I mean,
understand.
I just think that that is not something I've ever been tolerant of. Um, I I've never even dated anybody that's called me a name to my face. Like
Wow.
I just don't. I'm not doing all that. I don't have time for that.
Good for you.
Probably why I don't date and get married because I'm
Maybe
not doing it. I'm
I'd
not
hate
doing
to
it.
think that.
Well, people.
Um,
I mean, everybody tells me it's because I have standards. Now I didn't always have standards, but for I don't want to be in these relationships that I see on TikTok
right.
or in my personal life or at work. I don't want all that. I don't need anybody's money. I don't need, I'm saying I have a full happy life with a whole bunch of family, a whole bunch of friends, and I don't want to screw it up by some stupid relationship.
I like that. I do. Um, what's been your greatest struggle in life?
Gosh. I would say my self-esteem. I would
Yeah.
definitely say my self-esteem. I think every girl struggles with it for sure. But I think on some level, I struggled more. Maybe I mean I don't know. I'm not going to compare myself to anybody else, but I think that and also I have another problem going on right now, which I'm going to tell you because I think this is important. And I'm going to go back to this, but I am 52. I've never been married, don't have any kids, so I've never used my women parts, right? For that reason.
Sure.
And when that happens and you go through menopause, it all shuts down. Okay. Nothing's getting in there. So I went on hormones a couple of weeks ago. And when I tell you that the hormones drove me to insanity with thoughts of despair and pain, and when I'm like, I don't even know what's happening, right? So I think that the years of hormone problems, and it made me a very angry person inside. It made me hate
Wow.
myself.
That's rough.
um, I couldn't take birth control. I couldn't, nothing ever worked. And now at 52, we're finding out because I had cancer. I had a problem with my ovary, which I never knew. It was wrapped in scar tissue and disease, and
Oh my
which
God.
caused 40 years of pain. Because I started my period when I was 10, and I had a hysterectomy at 50, and for every 28 days for 40 years, I was in pain. So I finally had to ask my doctor to take it out. I was done. I'm not having kids. Let's get this over with. So this hormone problem is debilitating. And when I tell you debilitating, I cried for a solid 16 hours with no reason why I'm crying. And if any other woman is feeling this way, call me, because I have been, nobody I know has been through this, because everybody I know has had kids, so they're
Sure.
not dealing with the same problems I'm having. And we all deal with issues as we get older with hair thinning and all that stuff, but I couldn't leave the house. I could not leave the house. I didn't want to eat, and it's all because of this massive amounts of hormones I've been taking over the last 2 weeks.
Bipolar.
Yeah,
I
I
can
mean,
understand. I can relate to the
the
insane emotional roller coaster.
yes, it was bad. It
And
was very bad. And I just wonder how many women out there are suffering the same way and think it's them, think they need antidepressants or think that they're depressed. It's this is a huge problem. And my doctor would not even test my hormone levels. She wouldn't even go there. So I had to go to somebody different. So we're working on
isn't
it,
that
but
astounding?
it's taken.
Isn't that astounding?
Oh, I can't even,
Like,
the anger that I have for this circumstances, and basically saying, well, you're old, nobody's having sex your age.
please.
I'm like, uh, all of my friends are. All of my friends are. My mother was. She's
Why,
75.
why do they have Viagra if people your age aren't having
That's
sex?
right, right. And also, I'm 52. I'm not 102.
Right.
I do
Yeah.
want to date.
Sure. Sure. You still want to have a
So,
fulfilling life.
yeah,
And what would you say is your most rewarding, fulfilling success?
college at 52.
Yeah.
College at 52. And, also the cancer thing. I think I'm pretty proud of the way that I handled it and the things that I have been through that, most people couldn't even or wouldn't even want to do. I did all of this without a partner. I mean, I had
Now,
mom and Stacy. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What is your status with the cancer now?
So I have been in March, I'll be 5 years cancer free.
Congratulations.
Thank you, which is the most time I've ever had in 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
So it's
sister had cancer
okay. What'd she
at
have?
5.
Oh yeah.
She had a
The
tumor in her
childhood.
head.
Did she make it?
Well, it's a really good story.
Okay.
God, this is a hard story.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was 5 in 1969.
Okay.
Cancer treatment was very primitive. My mom chased doctors all over the country,
Mm-hmm.
Texas, and we're in Kentucky. Okay, we're
Okay.
in
Yeah.
Louisville. So in 1969, my mom is flying my sister to Houston, to San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco, doctors and specialists and treatment centers. Um, she pioneered, or was the pioneering patient for a lot of treatments like radiation and chemotherapy. And
Wow.
I mean, because they didn't know in 1969, it was
No.
just so primitive.
Right.
Skin grafts. My sister lost an eye.
Wow.
Basically, side of her face looked like a skeleton, and then pretty girl.
Yeah.
Because the radiation and the chemotherapy, it just destroyed everything on this side. She lost an eye. She lost her teeth. 6 months with the skin graft going from her arm to her cheek.
Oh,
and then this side. And so she had big patches of scarring on her arms where they took the skin. And my mom's in dark rooms reading books through cracked curtains, and can't have the TV on or the lights on because she's too sensitive, and living in a hospital room in a chair. Not even no cots, no, they didn't have that stuff. That kind of thing. And she was given 6 months.
Yeah.
My sister was 38 when the cancer returned. She went to a special school. She went to high school. She went to a special state-run school for people with disabilities. And I believe because I was just a kid, she became a CPA.
Yep.
And was working for Goodwill Industries. And then one day she was at her desk and she fell out of her chair and started having a grandma seizure. And that was the start of the end. I think she maybe had another year or two after that. But I mean, my sister beat cancer for 33 years. And as a 5-year-old, that's doing something.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, she ended up getting married, but neither one of them could have kids because they both had issues. And I don't know. I miss my sister. She was a really awesome person. But at the same time, I'm really proud of her and what she did, how far she went. So,
well, I'm sorry to hear that. And I as a cancer survivor, she wanted to live.
Yeah.
Because she fought really hard.
It takes a strong will.
Yeah, it does.
And I know so many people, and every time I tell that story to somebody, they're just like, I hope it inspires them.
Oh, I think it should, because 38 years, like she said, screw this. I'm still gonna get a college degree. I'm gonna be a CPA. I'm still gonna live and get married. And I mean, people really don't understand the internal force it takes to continue going when you've been through shit like that. They just you cannot understand it until you've been there.
Every day was a struggle for her.
Yeah.
She was only 4'11", if that tall. I think she might have been 4'9". But yeah, she made the best of it. In high school, she did a lot of volunteer work at the nursing home. And, she taught sign language classes and crafts and needlepoint, and I don't even know what it's called, but they take like the little plastic grids and a needle and the yarn, and they make like
I know exactly.
She did a lot of that kind of stuff. But there was also a lot of stuff like deviated septum. Right? So mucus would get stuck up in there, and she'd have to like take salt water and clean it out. And that was, I just can't imagine doing that every couple days, having to deal with that as a teenage girl in high school.
Yeah. Right.
That's,
and it's just as being a patient and seeing the other side, it's probably a whole lot harder for you to watch than it was for her to do.
I'd be honest with you. One, I was a kid, and two, by the time I really knew it was okay, so she was 10 years older than me. So by 10, she was pretty much living kind of steady, right? Like she wasn't fighting cancer that much anymore. It had gone into remission, and so I didn't really see that end of it. but the
Mm-hmm.
stories of like my dad working 3 jobs
Mm-hmm.
to pay off, he paid those medical bills,
Mm.
and my dad wasn't extremely educated. He was a welder and
Mm.
mechanic, that kind of thing.
Wow. So basically, both of your parents busted their ass for your sister.
Yeah, and my
I mean,
mom was
that's
only a homemaker, and yeah, just
yeah.
I can't imagine living through that. I'm so fortunate my girls have been healthy.
But I love her story. I think that you should tell it for sure because I mean, that's what we want to hear. We want to hear the survival. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The even if you don't survive, it's still what are you doing between, the dash? What are you doing, because
Yeah.
I say all the time, if I live to be, or another year, 10 years or 50 years, I want to do what I need to do while I'm here. And part of
Yeah.
that is to get this story out so that people are not afraid. I cannot tell you how many people. I had a viral TikTok, 4.7 million views.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of comments, a lot of just can you taste and can you feel it, that kind of thing. But also from the tongue cancer survivors that found the video. I mean, I've given my personal phone number out. If you need anything, call me because I was alone. I was completely alone in my cancer.
So
No
you
one
had
had tongue
tongue
cancer.
cancer?
Hmm.
Crazy.
And I was 37 and I didn't, I mean, terrified, just, I haven't even had
Sure.
kids yet. I haven't gotten married, and then now I have this. I say all the time, I prayed for patience and got cancer. Um, but I didn't, I don't know. It's tough. It really is tough, but I'm glad I'm glad that I can be there for people, and I'm glad that I'm not going to say I'm glad, but I am thankful for cancer because it really taught me how to live. It really, really taught me what exactly it is I want out of life.
I
And
understand it gives you a really fresh opinion and an appreciation for what you for every day. Is what I understand.
absolutely, it's just a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
completely
so
different.
tell me your story.
Okay, so my story is it's different than most people's. I when my early 20s, late teens, 19, 20, 21, and somewhere in there, I contracted HPV, which is a sexually transmitted disease that can cause cancer. If you get the right strand, you got cancer. Lucky me, I got it. So I had biopsies done over the years, over and over. I had some white patches, which is called leukoplakia, and they're like white, like they're not sores. It's like just a white patch on your tongue.
Right.
So I had that removed um, multiple times over years, and at 37, it turned into full blown cancer. So at 37, I went to the doctor, and he just took it off, and I thought I was fine. And then that was in 2019, and then 2017, it came back. We did the same thing, took it off. 2019, it came back, took it off. And after that third surgery, I decided to take matters into my own hands and call someone else. I knew that my problem was bigger than the ENT could do, and I just wanted a solution. So I called Emory University in downtown Atlanta, and that was on like a Tuesday, and they saw me on Friday. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's back." I'm like, "I know." Can you just take the whole thing off? I'm just done with all this. Just take whatever amount you have to take. Just take it. I don't care. Um, so I had that surgery in March of 2020, and they took about 30 or 40% off, and I already was missing, like 20 to 30. So it's a little over half. I knew that I was going to have a hard time eating. I knew I was going to have a hard time speaking, And while I didn't mind the weight loss, I was not comfortable. I wanted to be able to talk. I wanted to be able to, for people to understand me, to me to understand myself. So I spent a lot of time during COVID teaching myself to sing Miranda Lambert songs and just talk using, because you make a lot of your sounds like with the tip of your tongue, and I don't have
Right.
a tip of my tongue.
Oh
So
my
I had to
goodness.
force my tongue into those positions. It was crazy. I didn't eat for 2 months. I did not have it. I opted for no feeding tube. But I did have, I drank protein shakes as much as I could. But I did lose a good bit of weight in less than 2 weeks, about 20 pounds. So it's just been the recovery, was better than I thought, different than I thought, but better than I thought. And I guess I tried to keep my expectations low so that, but yeah, it was rough. There were some rough days in there, but, it's part of my story, and I have a tattoo, and people ask me all the time, why do you have a tattoo on your tongue? So I get the chance to tell them my story and hope it gives someone, inspiration or hope to someone who's lost it.
Can we see it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I can see. I can't really tell what it is, but I can see a blue
Yeah.
patch.
Yeah. It's actually green. Most people think it's blue, but it's green. It was
Okay.
a star, and it was let's see, let me take this off. I had to have multiple
Yeah, yeah,
skin grafts.
yeah,
So that's where the tattoo was.
yeah.
And then I have another skin graft on
Oh,
my
oh. So they
leg.
took this.
Uh-huh. It's transplanted. It's
Wow.
transplanted on. I didn't put it on. It's transplanted there.
I was gonna say I can't imagine
Yeah, no.
like tattoo that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. When I went to go see my plastic surgeon, he said, "And let me see your wrist." And so I bent down like that, and he goes, "Oh shit." I was like, "Yeah," because I knew I'd done research, so I knew they were gonna have to take it from my left arm, and I knew that I had a tattoo there, and I was like, so I thought it would be like in the back of my tongue, but it's like front and center.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. I kind of embraced it. I kind of embraced it right off because I knew I just didn't care.
Well, anything that you can't feel good about or turn to your advantage, it kind of drags you down, right?
Right, right.
You don't seem like the kind of person that's gonna let
No,
something like that drag you down.
no. I couldn't because I knew at this point I knew my story was going to be big. I knew that someone needed my story because I needed my story. I needed it at 37. So I
Yeah,
knew there was someone out there. And and I wanted, gosh, I cry every time. I wanted to fight in a way that showed my nieces and nephews that if it was ever their turn, that we don't lay down, we fight. We stand up and fight no matter what.
yes, ma'am.
And I wanted them to see that. So, and it was tough because I was vulnerable. I looked like Frankenstein. I had, tubes and just all of this was gross.
Yeah,
Um, and I asked them if they were going to be scared. And they were like, we don't care. We're not, we want to be there. We don't care. And so it turned out that I was probably more, scared than they were.
yeah.
So, and they were a big help. My nieces and nephews helped tremendously during this time.
So
Um,
glad you had them.
yeah, me too. And my sister, but school was out then, so because of COVID, so they all just came up and, I had to change this bandage every day. I had a tracheotomy thing, so I had to
Right.
change all that, and I just couldn't do it. You know, I was grossed out and
So they
tired,
helped you
and
with that.
oh yeah,
How old
oh
were
yeah,
they?
15 and 17.
Oh wow. So they were
Yeah,
old
babies.
enough to fully grasp
Yep.
the consequences
Yeah.
and be helpful.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. It was.
'Cause I
It
can
was my
imagine 8 or 9, 10 year olds not really being
right.
all that helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. They. Although my nephew, um, He wanted to be a doctor. But yeah, so my nephew's in pharmacy school at this point, and he was very, he actually loved all of it. He's very interested in all that happened to me, and but they were there. I had lots and lots of support. Normally, when someone's in the hospital and sick, you bring them food, but we didn't. I couldn't eat
That was
anything.
probably a bad choice, a little insensitive
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, but yeah, so I mean, and we made the best of it. And looking back on that time, it's COVID seemed to suck, and it was we all had to stay inside. But I think because I was forced to stay inside, and everybody else was also forced to stay inside, I think it made me better. It made me okay. Like I wasn't missing anything. I wasn't depressed. I was just, let's just heal and get this over with, so I can move
Did
back
you
on
get
with
a
my
lot
life.
of like chemotherapy or radiation?
I didn't. I actually did not have to have any chemotherapy or any radiation. I'm
That's
very,
good,
very
because
lucky.
that really destroys your immune system.
Yes, yes. And also, when you are radiated to the throat and mouth area,
I
you
mean, you
run the
get like
risk.
the thyroid issues, right?
Yeah, or you run the risk of never eating again.
Yeah.
So you drink your food for the rest of your life. And I did not want to do that. I did not want to do it, but then I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then in the end, I didn't have to have it. So I was very lucky.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks.
I
Thanks
hope it
for
really
having me.
inspires people or
I do
gives them
too.
confidence that they can fight too.
Yes. I
Cancer is
say
very scary.
it's, and this is the thing, and I want to change the narrative on that. Yes, it is very scary, but we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it, because if there's something wrong with you, and I said this the other day, if there's something wrong, get some help. If you do it earlier rather than later, you have a better chance of living.
Yeah.
And
I have a lot of stories of friends that didn't.
didn't I? Me too.
Yeah.
And
My
even
buddy's
having
dad.
been,
Yeah,
yeah.
my buddy's dad. He caught it too late. It was already
Mm-hmm.
stage 4, and
Mm-hmm. And a
couldn't
lot
do
of
it.
times, the our body is telling us there's something wrong, and we're just ignoring it.
Not listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have offered to make doctor's appointments. I've offered to go with people. Like, I will go with you. I know how scary it is. But the best way to get through it is to step up to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's
I,
get there and get through it.
yeah. I have COPD,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to put these valves in my lungs to deflate the bad parts, because
Mm-hmm.
my lungs are hyperinflated, so I can't take deep breaths.
Yeah.
And they say, like, oh, there's a large portion of people that when they have this surgery done, their lungs pop, so they collapse a lung. And I got to be honest with you, I'm kind of terrified.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
real scared.
it's definitely scary. What I recommend to anyone that's having any kind of issue, do some research. Do some research.
Yeah.
And research all you can, and talk to someone who's had it done. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I just reach out to someone, and your doctor may know, and there's probably a support group for
Support group.
someone
That's
with
what I
your
was going to
problem.
say.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet,
Yeah.
right? Like, they've only been discussing it, and I have to
Mm-hmm.
go through all this therapy before I prepare
Mm-hmm.
myself, and I'm trying to get to that point,
Mm-hmm. Love yourself enough to want to live.
For sure. For sure. Absolutely. Because if
Because
you
it
don't,
is,
you're not going to
yeah,
fight. Yeah.
Nope.
So my mom has had a couple of knee replacements. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
both. And I got to tell you, I was really surprised, that I'm really proud of her, how well she fought to get
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom's almost 80, and
Oh,
I
I
kind of
love
thought
it.
that she lives alone. My dad is gone. I thought maybe she's probably just going to sit around. Her knees are going to lock up. They're not going to heal. They're not going to get strong, and she's going to wither away. That was my fear. But I mean, she was up and walking within a week without the crutches, right? Like, or the walker. Within just a couple of weeks, she's up and really getting well. And she's telling me that she was doing the therapy every day when the therapist isn't even there. And she asked me to buy her one of the like little the thing you said. It's the pedals, but it's just the pedals on a screen.
Yeah.
I got her one of those, and I mean, she's like, "Oh, I use it every day," and I was like, "Wow, I really didn't expect all that from her. I didn't expect her to work for it. But I'm so proud of her for it."
Let me tell you something about your mom. I don't even know your mom, but I can tell you, look at how hard she fought for your sister. You think she's not going to fight that hard for herself?
I know.
Underestimated your mom right there.
Expect it. I'd be honest with you.
Underestimated your mom right there. I'm telling you, when you have a will to live and to make things right, and like, because if we're gonna be here, I might as well be right. So if something's wrong with your hips or your ankles or your knees, get them fixed.
Yeah.
Even at the expense, because life, we all have struggles and battles, and life throws lemons at everyone. Yeah. But if you're going to be here, let's make the best of it.
That's fantastic. I like that. Do you
I appreciate.
You want to share?
I don't, unless you have any more questions.
Well, I got one more question for you. What are you going to do with the second half?
The second half of the live? Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I'm going
You're not
to.
done.
I know. I'm going to. Well, I've started with the podcasting. I would like to be an advocate for incest survivors, and anybody really who needs help or love or attention or anything. I think I'm here for whatever y'all need. I feel like that's pretty much how my life's always kind of gone.
Be of service.
Yeah. Yes. Whatever that means. If that means doing a podcast, or I did an interview. I don't know if you know the Lad Bible.
I'm sorry.
It's called the Lad Bible.
Oh yeah.
It's like a they did an interview the other day. Or I did an interview with them the other day. They're making like a mini video documentary on my life, or on the cancer. And and those things to me, it's everything to someone out there who needs to hear it.
Yeah.
It's everything.
So where can we see your podcast?
Well, I'm not there yet. I'm like you. I'm so new at the whole thing. And I had been doing the investigation part, but it's Two of a Crime. As soon as I've got the room ready, and all I got to do is just get the material together in an editor. So we're working on that. You let me know. I will.
We'll plug you.
I will.
Plug your podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like the name. It's catchy.
Thanks. It's Miranda Lambert song.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hear that, Miranda? You need to get in touch with this woman.
Actually, I have met her. Have her.
You?
Yeah, I met her. Was it last April? Last April in New York. She did a book signing, and I flew up there, and yeah. That's but great. She just looks at her comments. She knows I love her.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You, Jen.
I love what you're doing.
Thank you. I got my mom and two sisters. I got a bunch of female cousins, and I have 3 daughters and my wife.
Yeah, you probably understand women more than anybody.
Women.
Yeah.
They're always surprising. They're always more powerful than people are expecting them to be. And I've ever since my daughter was first born, my first daughter was first born, I've been trying to show them they can. Whatever it is.
That's right. That's right.
Don't be a victim. In fact, my first daughter, she's really tiny. And she's in her late 20s. She's 4'11" and maybe 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Like if someone wanted to, just grab her, throw her over her shoulder, and walk away with her. There's not much she could do. She was getting bullied in like I don't know, elementary school. And I worked for Disney. And I have a lot of friends that worked for Disneyland. And at one point, she's getting bullied, and I told her, "You punched that girl right in her face." But I'll get in trouble. Good, then you'll have the day off from school, and I'll take you to Disneyland.
I love it. I love it.
And she punched that girl right in her face.
I love it.
And the girl, if I remember correctly, the girl's mom was a teacher at the school. Guess what? Why is your daughter bullying mine? We've told you, we've told you, we've told you. You've done nothing about it. It's been swept under the rug. Now this is the results. And guess what? We went to Disneyland. We had a great time.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, you know, you need to interview your mom. I hope you got her. You got her story.
I got to get there, right?
Yeah.
I got so many women that I know that I want to interview, but at the same time, I don't want this to be the women Craig knows.
Right.
I want to save them for special events.
Yeah. Yeah, because they probably got all kinds of stories.
I'm sorry?
They probably got all kinds of stories.
I believe they do.
Yeah.
I know my mom does.
Especially your mom, yeah.
I know my mom's got crazy stories. Like drag racing and from light to light in a mini skirt with 2 babies in the car. That's what you did in the 60s.
And fast cars.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Craig. I love this idea, and I think that, you know, I say all the time, women do not talk enough about what we're going through.
We're not heard enough.
No. And I think we just don't talk enough about the things that we're going through. We think we feel stupid or we look dumb. But I'm telling you, we could learn a lot from each other if we just listen. Yeah. I mean, it's stop judging.
As a man, we have no clue what you guys are up to.
No clue.
We don't know what you struggle with. We don't know how hard it is for you. And we just don't. We don't understand. We don't know. Most guys don't even know how to talk to a woman, much less listen to one.
And I think that you know, at first I was like, he's gonna do a podcast about women, but I get it now. Because you're surrounded by women, and it's almost like to be, you know, for you to hear us and put us forefront. I actually think that's a really brilliant idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I like it. I can't wait.
Great. I can't either. It was wonderful meeting you, Jen.
It was nice meeting you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Well, here we are, living in the moment. Here we are, dreaming in the open. Now look around, isn't this a new day? Make a move, doing things a new way. A new way. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Look ahead, we can see forever. You and me doing it together. Light it up, we can be a million stars. Look at us, don't you see we've come so far? Yeah, we've come so far. 'Cause this is our world, and This is our time, and these are our plans. We're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Standing at the crossroads, feeling how the wind blows. We can soar above the clouds. Every moment is a heartbeat, and every breath feeling so sweet. And who can say what happens now? 'Cause this is our world, this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we